Hello, camera denizens. Thank you for your wonderful response to my Lumix G9 firmware 2.4 Can It Focus and Chew Gum at the Same Time update video. And just to clarify, I was reviewing autofocus for video, not stills. I love YouTube. It is only on this platform where someone can create content that would never make it to network TV or even HBO Max, and they're desperate. There have been probably thousands of autofocus videos, tests, shootouts, etc. on YouTube. As silly as they are, I find watching testers pop up in and out of frame like gophers curiously addicting. And we do this without embarrassment. Well, no gopher popping today from me. In my last autofocus test video, I completely ignored Panasonic's V-Log-L. First of all, I don't use it for these kinds of posts. And secondly, it's just not an optimal option for Panasonic's contrast-based autofocus. V-Log-L is designed to suck the contrast out of a scene. My previous autofocus tests with it at 422 10-bit were laughably bad, partly because of the lack of contrast, but also the extra computations the processor had to make for 10-bit. But you all know me. I'm someone who likes to have fun, so I thought, why not try the latest 2.4 G9 firmware update on V-Log-L just for shits and giggles? So, what I have assembled are actually a few tests I've always wanted to do that might be of interest to you folks out there. The first item will be my usual standard profile 4K 8-bit 420 setting. Next will be the V-Log-L for comparison. Then, I wanted to see if 10-bit 422 at 30 frames per second really did anything for the dynamic range using just the standard profile, detuned just a tad, compared to shooting at 8-bit 420. The fact that my G9 can do these internally is frankly amazing, so why not try it in an extreme lighting situation? I've never been a fan of Cine like D. It added an orange cast that was a pain to remove. So let's get to the examples. As you can see, this is a nice, contrasty, bright scene. I'm under a sunshade that is actually beige, so I had to correct for that. But it's full-on bright behind me. Not a bad test for this much maligned sensor. As mentioned earlier, first up I'm shooting at standard profile 4K 30 FPS 8-bit 420. The f-stop is at 7.1 on my workhorse 12 to 60 Leica lens. And as you can see, if you don't want background pulsing, then forget about bokeh, just stop down this lens. I'll let my on-screen persona take over for a bit.
This is a very sunny day, and I've got my aperture set at 7.1 just to make the exposure. Even then, I'm exposing on me, not on the background there. And the box is following me quite well. We'll see what kind of autofocus action I'm getting out of here. Here's so far I'm finding just leaving it on face detect and not using any of the other autofocus options working really well. I don't have the animal detect on. Apparently that uses up a bit more processing power, so I just have human detect, of which it's still suspect whether I'm a human or not.
I'm going to stop for a moment to point out a few things. First of all, I think this is damned acceptable. You can see the white pool cover is burned out here. I don't like the blooming, but it's okay for a vlog. And the boards in the fence here at least have a bit of color, but no detail. In past videos that I shot here, when I used autofocus, the camera would focus on the back of my chair behind my head and not me. That was annoying, but that seems to have been fixed. I'm not a colorist, and you will see variations during this demo, but I'm very happy with this image and the way the autofocus worked. By the way, Vonnegut's Mother Night is a crushing, sad book. This second example is the Vlog L test. You can see instantly that there is more detail everywhere, and I really do like the look of it. It seems more even. Again, the point of this was to be able to get something useful quickly, not a grading exercise. If you compare the pool cover, you can see the offensive bloom is gone, and you can see detail in the fence on the boards off to my left. The big shock is that the autofocus is actually working. It is showing the classic Panasonic background pulsing, not useful for a paid shoot, but not offensive for this kind of application. The point is, this didn't work at all before. It was so over-the-top bad as to be worthless. So whatever updates Panasonic made to the 2.4 algorithm were impressive, if for no other reason than as a technical exercise. For those who want to see the before and after of the ungraded and graded footage, here it is. Now on to test number 3. Using my standard profile at 4K 422 10-bit, let's take a look. There is more detail available for sure. Colors look great, but the flat log profile handles high contrast areas better. Will viewers care about the differences between 8-bit and 10-bit? I don't think so, because they are obviously concentrating on my brilliant prose and deep thoughts. But for sure, you can pull more detail out at 10-bit 422. Finally, I tossed on my Sigma 30mm to see if it would handle autofocus at standard profile 4K 10-bit 422. I think this looks great, almost cinematic. I'm still using auto face detect, and take a look when the coffee cup comes into the frame. My face stays rock solid in focus, and both the background and coffee cup are out of focus. No hunting. This was so good, I'd consider using this in a real shoot. As I mentioned in my previous video, you need to sort out for yourselves how each of your lenses behave using autofocus. I would love to test the 10 to 25 and 25 to 50 Leica Panasonic zooms, but unless Panasonic sends them to me or someone loans them, that's not going to happen. Well, camera denizens, I hope this little test was useful and entertaining. I look forward to reading your comments. Till next time, be seeing you.